Welcome to lesson 23, problem number 1, where we are adding and subtracting rational expressions. So just like with any fractions, if we have a common denominator, we can just add or subtract the numerators. 1a, we're really lucky, we have a common denominator of x plus 5. So all we have to do is add the numerators. 3 plus 2 is 5. This is our final answer, 5 over x plus 5. Okay, let's go to b. So now we're subtracting, but we already have our common denominator of x minus 9. So once again, we're really lucky. So what we're going to do is we're going to say 7x, and then we're going to subtract the numerator from the second fraction. So x squared plus 3x. And we're subtracting that entire quantity. So notice I put that in parentheses to make sure that negative gets distributed to both terms. So now we have 7x minus x squared minus 3x over x minus 9. And now we can simplify that, and we are simply going to get negative x squared. I'm putting it in descending order. So negative x squared plus 4x over x minus 9. And we're done. Okay, let's go to C. C is a little tricky because we do not have a common denominator. But we're going to use the skills that we know from adding fractions from way back when to add these two fractions together. So I'm going to start by rewriting exactly what we have, but I'm going to leave a little extra space. So I'm going to kind of exaggerate this a little bit. So far, all that I've done is rewritten the problem with a lot more space. So now I'm going to try and get a common denominator. So the common denominator is going to be a minus 4, the quantity, and then a minus 2. So what I can do, this is, I know, a little bit different, but if you look at that first fraction, that again, the red was the original fraction, I can just multiply both the numerator and the denominator by a minus 2, because what I'm really multiplying by is 1. Okay, a minus 2 over a minus 2 is just 1. It's a fancy version of 1, but it's 1. So I'm not changing this fraction. I'm just rewriting it in another form. Now, over here, I can do the same thing. But this second fraction doesn't need an a minus 2. It needs an a minus 4. So I'm going to multiply by a minus 4 over a minus 4. Which, keep in mind, a minus 4 over a minus 4 is just a fancy version of 1. So I'm not changing the value of the fraction. Now look at this. I'm going to underline we have a common denominator. So now we can just simply add directly across. So I have 8 times the quantity a minus 2 plus a times the quantity a minus 4 over our common denominator of, let's make that a little bit more legible, a minus 4 times a minus 2, because we now have a common denominator. Okay, and then from there, we can kind of multiply some things out and just make it a little bit neater. You don't have to multiply out that denominator. It's already factored, but we're just going to try and combine some terms in that numerator. So I basically have 8a minus 16 plus a squared minus 4a all over a minus 4 times a minus 2. And when you think about what that becomes, it's basically a squared plus 4a minus 16, which, by the way, does not factor again, so there's nothing we need to do with that, all over a minus 4 and a minus 2. And that is our final answer. So that was a little bit tricky. And again, email me if you have questions. The email is right below where I'm writing all this. All right, let's go to D. And D looks like a light bulb problem, so it's a little challenging. But honestly, there's going to be a nice trick to this one. But if you don't see the shortcut, it's going to be much more complicated. So we need to get a common denominator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the first fraction as 9d over d minus 5. But that second fraction, I'm going to right now leave it as minus 3d, but in the denominator, I'm going to rewrite it as negative 1 times d minus 5. And what I'm hoping you see is that I haven't changed 5 minus d. Negative 1 times d minus 5 is still negative d plus 5. I haven't changed the denominator. It's the same. I just factored out a negative 1 from this and rewrote it. So take a minute to make sure that makes sense. Okay, but now the good news is I can now rewrite this fraction much more simply as 9d over d minus 5. And this minus and this negative down here makes the entire fraction, we could just make it a plus, 3d over d minus 5. So I'm basically canceling this minus and making it a plus. So now we can just add across, and we have, for our final answer, 12d over d minus 5. Okay, that's everything we can do, and great job. See you next time.